Here with reaction, constitutional law attorney, member of the Trump 2020 Advisory Board, Jenna Ellis. Also, America First PAC senior advisor, Sean Spicer. And Fox News legal analyst, author of the best-selling book, #1 bestseller, Witch Hunt, Greg Jarrett is with us. Well, Jenna, we have 100,000 Trump supporters requesting tickets in New Jersey. Not exactly Trump country or Republican country. The New York Times bashing Bernie. Biden is warning the Democrats nominating Bernie or Warren will doom the entire party. How do you see this impeachment disaster impacting all these candidates?
Yeah, I think it's a really fair question for Democrats to raise. Why did Nancy Pelosi actually withhold sending the articles to the Senate for so long? Is this really a tactic to make sure to suppress the campaign advantage of those senators that are now going to be compelled to sit through this impeachment scam trial? I mean, this is all a complex process, Sean, that I think that they are coordinating to make sure to really rid the American public of free and fair elections. This is what it's all about for them. They are trying to overturn our fundamental right to vote in this country. And they're doing that by trying to overturn due process and the constitutional requirements to actually impeach and convict a sitting president. But they're also doing this on their own time frame, and it's even hurting their own party.
Sean Spicer, you were there in 2016. Not only do they want to overturn that election, they want to bloody up the president for the next election because the American people will weigh in 288 days.
Yeah, I think this is going to be interesting, to Jenna's point, whether or not they regret this process, because you've got this kind of car crash coming into Iowa where you've got four or five of the candidates within the margin of error of each other. And I think that they may come to regret how it turns out. I still think that Sanders may get the edge here. But going back to that editorial, Sean, I think it's almost schizophrenic. The New York Times is telling people to vote for two divergently different people. Warren, who is far to the crazy socialist left, and Klobuchar, who's just to the left, and saying both have good characteristics. So, it's crazy that they're endorsing two people. I mean, this isn't Chicago, right? They should pick one and say why. But not only are they picking two people, they're picking people who are basically very divergent on their worldviews.
They all support some version of the new Green Deal, Medicare for all.
Oh, right.
Promises that are cost prohibitive that can never be fulfilled.
Right, and I agree. It's a question of semantics, how far to the left you are. But I think there's no question that Warren is much further to the left than Klobuchar. And I think that the idea that they can point out these two things and come to the same conclusion that says vote for both, it really spans the spectrum. Because when I look at that field, there's a lot of folks between Warren and Klobuchar that I think are crazier to the left than Klobuchar is in particular. But it's just fascinating what message that sends to voters and readers.
Greg.
Well, the New York Times is now the Charlie Brown of newspapers, wishy-washy. They couldn't decide, so they chose both. And as Sean points out, they're completely different. One's a moderate, one's a liberal. What I take out of it is two things. One, they dismiss out of hand Bernie Sanders. He's too old, and they describe him as a health risk. But most of all, they utterly dismiss Joe Biden, which is a slap in the face at the guy who's actually leading in most polls. I mean, this is a guy who was a United States senator for a very long time, vice president of the United States for 2 terms, the alleged BFF of Barack Obama, although Obama didn't endorse him. And now Biden can't even get the endorsement of the liberal New York Times. It speaks volumes about where Biden's candidacy is headed.
All right. Thank you all for being with us. Great insight from all of you. All right.